Hello, hello, hello. Boy, has it been... Was there a break week last week? I don't think there was. No, I don't think there was. So yeah, it's just another week where we actually get to read One Piece on schedule, on time, and it's actually Sunday, and I didn't get spoiled. So we're going to jump straight into it right after this little brief update on the channel. I'm in the middle of editing, so I have a backlog of stuff to edit still, so I don't really have time to, after this stream ends, to just continue with another stream of a quick game or something. Maybe I could, but then I would just add to the backlog, and I would rather not add to the backlog at this time. So the next big game stream we'll do will probably be Monday, since I have the day off. Anyway, speaking of Monday, it is currently the 31st of May, which is Sunday. New One Piece chapter. Anyway, no new channel news besides the fact that I finally finished updating I finally finished uploading and editing together all of my Song of the Welkin Moon playthrough of Genshin. That's finally all out there, and it should all have been uploaded at the time of this recording. And without further ado, just a reminder, if you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, as well as what I'm working on, then I announce all of that stuff in my own Discord, links to which are where links are. And also, there is a playlist of my entire reaction of the Elbaph arc so far, although I did believe I started, I think, right after, what was it, 1133? We've been doing it for about a year at this point. I didn't start at the exact start of the Elbaph arc when I started doing these live reactions, but I have been reading the manga for years. I switched from anime only to manga, I want to say, during Whole Cake Island. But I have been reading the manga for a long time at this point, and I have long since gone back and reread lots of the manga over the years. But I've never sat like in one sitting and read the entire manga in one go, which at some point I might do. Don't think I'll do that on stream, because that'd be like 8 continuous days of reading, and that would be very boring to watch. Well, anyway, it's now time for us to react to page 1, which does not have page 1 on it, but it does have Brook on it, which makes sense given the story was surrounding Brook's flashback where we last left off, as in a little bit of a recap. And Brook is being electrocuted in what looks to be like an inner tube. He's being electrocuted by jellyfish. He's giving the thumbs up, though, so he's fine. That's how you know he's fine. Which, I don't remember if he actually takes damage from electrical attacks or not, because I believe that was one of the reasons why they electrocuted him. I think, was that in the fight against Oars all the way back in Thriller Bark? But I'm getting sidetracked here. Anyway, we're now reading chapter 1184, We're all bones when we die. That's such a Brook thing to say, all things considered. Well, that's all that we have to say about page 1, so let's just move on to pages 2 and 3. Also, the jellyfish have emu's eyes, I'm just noticing, actually. That's kind of evil. Oh. I wonder if we'll actually finish Brook's flashback in this chapter, or if it'll be 100% all flashback. I would like to see what's going on in real time at the events on Elbaph in the Elbaph arc. Because, at this point, I believe someone has pointed out to me that over a third of the Elbaph arc has just been flashback arc. Which is why it's kind of like, I don't really want to be getting into another flashback right about now. I would rather just, read what happens in Elbaph, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get to do that. Oh well. Anyway, let's go to pages 2 and 3. Ooh, wide shot. Is that Candel? Or is that Shuri? Oh, I think we've gone forward in time. Yep. By the time the Princess of Vesperia was 14 years of age. So how old was she last chapter? 7? Yeah, she was 7 last chapter. So we've gone forward 7 more years. So this is now 63 years in the past, I believe. By the time the Princess of Vesperia was 14 years of age, tales of her beauty had spread until 5 princes of nearby kingdoms had asked for her hand in marriage. Whoa, I yield. So weak, we're sorry. Kingdom of Vesperia, Shuri, princess, age 14. I thought that was her mom when I first saw the panel. That does not look like a 14-year-old to me. But then again, maybe some people go through puberty early. I've had friends and family members that have like gone through puberty as like early as age 9, which is still crazy to think about, but the fact that they look so much like their mother does beg the question that I feel like she could have easily passed for like maybe 16 to 20. But then again, when we see in the next page, she's standing next to Brooke, she's not even half his height. But then again, Brooke's like 88 inches tall, so that would make her like 44 or 54 inches tall. How tall am I? I'm like 60 something, right? I'm like 68, yeah. I'm like 68 inches tall. So she's like a full foot shorter than me. So okay, I guess her height would probably make sense then. Yeah, so she looks rather young in some of these little close-up shots that I'm seeing of her in the next page. I don't like weak men or men who can't play music. Music? I hear you defeated all the princes in combat, Princess Shuri. I sure did. You like strong women, don't you, Brooke? Well, I'm a lot stronger now, and I'm a lot cuter. I suppose you are. Alright, which means now we have age 27 Brooke, because he was 20 in the last chapter. Right. And I bet my chest will fill out in the future, too. It looks like it's filling out now. Stop that, it's undignified. Why do you have to talk like Papa? Oh, what's going on here? Beauticians, ladies, might I have a gander at your garters? A peek at your... Oh, he's doing the panty bit. Got it. I kind of forgot that this was Brooke that we were still looking at, right? Who's undignified now? He's asking random women on the street to see their panties. This is Brooke, so I guess this habit started really early on. I honestly haven't seen this gag in a while that I kind of forgot about it. But it's very heavily implied that Shuri's... Oh, she's even doing like a heart motion with her hands as she's like talking to Brooke. So yeah, she definitely has eyes only for Brooke, and it's a 13-year age gap. Still a 13-year age gap. What's the weird rule of dating people? It's half your age plus 7, right? What's 27 cut in half is like... That's 13... 13.5 plus 7, so like 20.5. So yeah. But then again, if we go into modern day, what would Shuri and Brooke's age be, respectively? Because Brooke is 90, and Shuri would be 77. So 45 plus 7. The age gap starts to matter less as you get older, is the whole meme about dating. I call this a meme, because I don't think anybody actually takes this dating rule to heart. But the half your age plus 7 rule, I always felt was weird, because if you take it to its absolute extremes, you could have the same age gap just become acceptable as you get older. Because, like, she was in love with him since she was 7 when he was 20. That's a 13-year age gap. And 77 and 90 is a 13-year age gap. But how many people would care or complain if a 90-year-old started dating a 77-year-old? Probably, I'm willing to bet, not the same amount of people that would complain about a 20-year-old dating a 7-year-old. Or let's just age her up. What's an 18-year-old dating a 31-year-old, I guess? Is that 13 years? Yeah, that's 13 years. 18 and 31. Would people be okay with that? Would as many people be okay with like a... Let's just go with 20 into 33 then. Yeah, I'm turning 33. Would people be okay with me dating a 20-year-old when I'm 33? Or as many people would be okay with that as a 90-year-old dating a 77-year-old? I wonder how those numbers would differ. I wonder how much more accepting of that age gap people would be. It'd be a fun thing to pull, if you had enough of an audience to pull. Boy, we've been on this page for a long time, so let's move on to pages 4 and 5. This is getting weird. Oh, we got Brooke singing again. Oh, cows and frogs and slaves and kings, we're all bones when we die. Okay, so this is just like last chapter, Good Morning Mermaid, which I realized on reread he's talking about mermaids. It's like Good Morning Mermaid or Good Morn Maid, or it's a song for a mermaid. It makes more sense now in retrospect. So this chapter, just like the last chapter, is also named after a Brooke song. Cows and frogs and slaves and kings, we're all bones when we die. In the end. That's all there is to say, yeah? Yo ho ho, ha ha ha. I love all your songs, Brooke. Yes, His Majesty said the same thing. You really love Papa, don't you, Brooke? And Mama, too, of course. Yes, I owe him everything. If I hadn't met your father, I'd be nothing but bones by now. Funny when you consider Brooke in the present day. Is this irony or foreshadowing? Is this retroactive foreshadowing? Anyway, it looks like we're going to a flashback and a flashback. Boy, are we getting a lot of those lately, aren't we? Because remember, the entire Rocks flashback was a flashback that happened inside of a Loki flashback about King Harold. And now we're getting a Brooke flashback and a Brooke flashback. Brooke, age 11 now. We're getting to see School Kid Brooke, which looks pretty identical to the SBS drawing of Brooke when he was a child, which I don't remember what SBS that was in, but I have seen it, and this looks almost identical to that. They're so lucky. School, real instruments, they sound so pretty. Hey, so he's like looking, so it looks like he's a little homeless kid, and he's like staring in at the schoolhouse at people in a music class. That's kind of sad. That nasty little boy's peering through the bars again. You're scaring all the students. What is that stench? The shame of the country. Alright, so he's got some parallels to Luffy, because it looks like we're cutting to a trash dump, like the Gray Terminal almost. Let's blame the king. We need a new king. One day we'll get to play real music. Dad and Mom, little bro, we're all starving in skin and bones. How am I even alive? Eating toads so I can thrive. Let's blame the king. We need a new king. So that's a song that's being sung. Boy, he's just gonna be writing songs constantly. We've got more Brooks songs in this chapter than the last, like, 2 chapters than we gotten in the last several years of the story. Unless this is just a variation of the same song that was at the beginning of the chapter. We are all bones when we die. Alright, I feel like I've said enough about this on the last 2 pages to count for these 2 pages, so I feel like I should just move on. But it is really interesting to see that we got to see Brooke line up with his SBS art, and the fact that we're going into yet another flashback and a flashback. Alright, it's page 6 and 7 time. Hand gestures excluded. Oh, here's the king. I've already forgotten his name. It was like Revan? I don't remember. These are terrible lyrics. Did you make them up? And is that my violin? Oh, it's my violin. That's a violin. So I guess he made a violin out of trash. Interesting. I made it out of a glass bottle and some wire. Doesn't it sound nice? Sure. Way to be creative. Huh. You came here before, right? Are you a fan of mine, old man? Maybe I am. That's right. The king kind of dressed like he wasn't a king all that much, so I guess it would make sense that Brooke wouldn't notice him if he's like walking around a trash dump like this. Maybe I am, but I'm not that old. I'm only 21? Oh, the explanation point made that one hard to read. Wow, you look so much older. Yo, you must have a hard life. You got a weird laugh, kid. Yo ho ho, I guess I do. I'll call you bro instead. So yeah, 21 and a 21-year-old and a 11-year-old. So that's only a 10-year age gap between the king and Brooke. Here, bro. I'll cook you a meal as a sign of friendship. I caught some fresh grasshoppers and frog today. That's good. The secret ingredient is curry powder. I steal it from the Navy ships that come to the port every now and then. That reminds me of that filler arc in the anime where they have what was it called? The little chore boy on the marine frigates that has to cook curry a very specific way. And it's like there's this whole little side story about how you don't work in a kitchen for 3 years and not pick up a few things, even if you aren't a cook. Makes everything you put taste like curry. I guess that's not much of a secret ingredient. The soup du jour is dollar abalone, harvest from the Euro Peninsula, and cooked in red wine. And we're getting a flashback and a flashback and a flashback. Is he remembering a fancy meal he ate once? Red wine with ruby beef. Your Highness, this is the daughter. This is the daughter of Saffron Zabaitsu. She graduated top of her class at the Anoa Academy. Okay, so I guess he's been going through marriage meetings. So how does he end up with Candel? And who is Candel? I saw people speculating last chapter that she's probably going to be revealed as Manmeyer Candel. So I wonder if that'll happen in this chapter. Makes sense. Because, like, supposedly Gunko ends up a celestial dragon somehow, so if their mom ends up being, like, a parallel to Garling, who went down to the lower world and then had a kid with somebody, that would make sense for Gunko becoming a celestial dragon in the modern day. What's up, bro? So good at make you tear up? Oh, alright. This is Asperia too. I'm just a little tired, thanks for the meal. Oh. Is he gonna throw up? What the hell's going on? We're seeing some really funky reaction shots of him eating this Brook soup, I'm gonna just call it. Brook curry. So good it makes you shiver, huh? I'm glad you like it so much. Hang on, bro. I'll sing you a song now. What, you want to pay me? Don't bother, bro. You just got a trouble. I feel like there's panels missing here. Okay. I guess, yeah. So big takeaways from these 2 pages is Brook sucks at cooking, or maybe he's really good at cooking. I don't really know. I don't have enough reaction shots to determine if this is a good reaction or just an over-the-top crazy one. But it is just grasshoppers and frog with curry powder. I can't imagine it tasting too terrible. But but it definitely looks more appetizing, surprisingly, than whatever that fancy meal he is here, which is soup du jour d'Aber, which is just abalone cooked in red wine with beef. Which, to be honest, does sound good. I'm actually a little bit hungry. I'm probably going to eat dinner after I have finished this recording. Anyway, let's move to pages 8 and 9. I feel like I have exhausted what I have to say about these 2 pages. Oh. The king's got a bottle of something. Is he going to go fishing? He's got a cigar. Brooke's got sunglasses now. Interesting. One day, Asperia, sell a port, to naval escort ship, load the merchant ship with instruments. Be very careful, they're fragile. Looks like Brooke's been arrested for some reason. Oh, because he's been stealing curry powder from the marine ships. Right. I don't know what you mean. You got the wrong guy. Don't lie to me, you little mule. Where's the powder the gangsters told you to carry? Where'd you hide it? Okay, so the Marines are beating up Brooke. Great. It's also interesting to think about it. The Marines as an organization were still around like 70 years ago. That's kind of interesting to think about. I wonder, like, how different the Marines were structured back then, or if it was, like, more or less the same, just with different people. I wonder if there's any notable Marines from this era. Because this is, like, an era of One Piece we know really very little about. We just know that this is, like, the era before Roger. The era before Rocks, even. I guess the giant warrior pirates would have been doing some chaos right about this time. Because that was about 100 years ago, was their era. We paid a lot of money for that stuff, and you're supposed to give it to us. And instead, what do we find? Curry powder. Cows and frogs and slay. Oh, he's singing the song. Stop singing. It'll be over in a moment if I keep singing. Either way, he's seen our faces. Oh, I guess these are corrupt Marines that trying to trade some sort of powder with the mob. Are they trying to get, like, what's it called? Maybe the powder, maybe he just got stumbled into a drug deal. Interesting. We're all bones when we die. And then, boom! Brooke! Brooke! Huh? Bro! Prince Reuben? And this is the reveal that it's Prince Reuben. Alright. And so this is why Brooke was saying in the... I wanted to say in the present, but we're in a flashback in a flashback. Alright, so this is the reveal of that Prince Reuben was the guy that was friends with Brooke. Smoking cigars, singing songs, fishing, hanging out in the dumps. And now we got some weird corrupt marine mob deal going, I guess, that he's busting and saving Brooke. Alrighty, I'm kind of excited to see where this goes from here, so I'm just going to move straight into page 10 and 11. Huh? Prince? So glad you're alright, Brooke. I don't know what I'd do with myself if you died. Step back, Your Highness. The battle convoy will handle the rest. Don't try to stop me, I'll do this myself. Oh wow, so King Reuben can fight! We see him just on the next page, there's a big panel of him like going wild, swinging that sword around. What you did to my little friend, they need to feel the same pain he did. Hey wait, that's Asperia's battle convoy. Prince Reuben, we've caught the Milan family and the mule who was transporting their drugs. Okay, so yeah, Brooke did show up on a drug deal. Mule? Then he is just really a kid who loves curry powder. Okay, so Brooke was stealing curry powder and then got mistaken for someone smuggling drugs. That's hilarious and depressing at the same time. Your Highness, you have to set personal grudges aside. The world government is behind the Navy. If the government is backing this scum, then the world's truly coming to an end. Right, Candel? I am your trusted blade, Highness. I'll fight at your side. So Candel was just the head of the battle convoy, even at this point. Wow, interesting. Hey, stop. We're Navy. No, you're not. You're trash. Okay. So we get the really cool panel of him swinging the sword around, but he's got Candel right by his side. So they end up a couple at some point, and I wonder how that develops. They're sword fighting. That's so cool. This is where Brooke gets inspired to pick up the blade, I guess. Hey, do you hear? Lady Candel's done it again. She saved the kingdom from peril. Okay. Good stuff. So we already knew in the previous chapter that Candel was the previous captain of the battle convoy. But I didn't think that if we went like, was it 9 years into the past before the events of the last chapter that she would still be that captain. Then again, I wonder how long she served as the captain. Just in the current chapter where we're at, Brooke served as this battle convoy captain for 7 years at the bare minimum at this point, but we don't really know when Brooke exactly took up the mantle and when Candel stepped down. Alright. Enough speculation. Maybe the answer is further ahead. Let's move on to pages 12 and 13. Excuse me? That's the last 2 pages? Okay. These better be some amazing pages. Hesperia Castle. Are you awake now, Brooke? I am not angry at you, Prince Reuven. I am simply asking that you be more mindful of your royal position. Yeah. Hey, Brooke. You're a prince, bro? Listen. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I wasn't trying to hide it. I just had too much fun hanging around you to ruin the good times. Kingdom of Vesperia, Battle Convoy Commander Candel. So she gets another Oda box in this chapter. That's wild. So don't you dare tell anyone about stealing that curry powder. Every time Prince Reuven went missing, we were in a panic trying to find him. I would have never guessed he was passing the time with such an adorable little friend. What's the age gap between Brooke and Candel now, I wonder? Well, maybe it's 10 years, because if Prince Reuven is 21 and Brooke's 11, then that means, and Candel, I would assume, is around Prince Reuven's age. If not, maybe a little younger. And he's blushing. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know your wounds were so deep. Oh, because he got a nosebleed. Got it. Nah, he's fine. Ignore him. More importantly, listen up. This guy's my favorite musician. Give him a room in the barracks and some real instruments to play. Make it so he can attend school. Got a new star in Hesperia. They didn't really like his music in the last chapter, but at the same time, he was waking people up at 4 a.m. I love this guy. If we keep him around, life in the palace is going to be way more fun. And that's where we end the chapter on. So this was just a full flashback chapter, and it doesn't feel like we're close to the end, but maybe next chapter will be the end of this flashback. So we got to go through the highlights. Obviously, fun little highlight of Prince Reuven going wild with a sword. Maybe that'll be what I put in the thumbnail. I'm going to take a screen cap of it real quick. And let's see. Obviously, we got to talk about the namesake song of the chapter. We're all bones when we die in the end. We got to see Shuri at a little bit higher in age. I haven't actually stopped to think about it, but maybe at this point she's already looking like she does. She's looking pretty close to what she does in the modern day. So it makes me think that the events of how tragic her backstory are about to be are probably not too far in the future from this moment. So age 14 Shuri might be how old her body is in present day when she is now Gunko. That being said, we still have no clue how long this chapter is going for, so maybe we end up going into another thing and we flash forward another 7 years to when she's like 21. Who knows? We actually still haven't seen what King Reuven looks like in this chapter, because we immediately jumped to a flashback. So we don't know what King Reuven looks like in present day when he's 37, I guess. If Brooke's 27 right now, King Reuven is only 37. That's kind of something funny to think about. Still don't know how old Candel is. Maybe she's an immortal witch, who knows? And she's like Dr. Kureha's age. We never know. She never got an age identifier in her Oda box. But I also just love this panel of Reuven and Brooke hanging out in the trash dump. One of them's fishing. One of them's got a cigar in their mouth. He's strumming along with his sunglasses on his little makeshift violin. Or, I guess it's weird that he's strumming a violin. But I guess I was first taught how to play a violin by learning how to just play it by pluck string. I didn't get into using the bow with it until like the latter half of the year in my first year of learning how to play the violin. So for like almost 6 months, all we ever learned was string plucking. I think like the only... what was it? Not too many songs I actually even learned on that violin. I think the most fancy one we actually learned and performed at like a school play was like one of the opening themes for like Harry Potter, because those movies were really big when I was in elementary school. Have I ever mentioned that I learned to play the violin when in 4th grade? A little bit of my backstory for y'all. I played the violin when I was, how old was I in 4th grade? Probably pretty young. Let's see, that would have been like 2003, I think. So I would have been 23 years younger. Was I 9? Was I playing the violin when I was 9? That sounds about right. Yeah. When I moved to San Jose in 2006. I had my 13th birthday later that year, I think. Yeah, that tracks. All right. So I guess the main prediction... This is a freaking short as hell chapter. 13 pages. I can't believe this was only 13 pages. Maybe that's why I didn't get spoiled. Because so little happened in this chapter. In fact, like, I'm doing my little thing where I usually like to talk about the highlights of the chapter at this point, but I think the highlights of the chapter are we just got to see what Brooke and Shuri looked like 7 years after the last chapter. We got to see a flashback and a flashback start. We get to see Reuven at age 21 and Brooke at 11. And then we get to see the Marines doing a drug deal with the Milan family, which is one of the, I assume, 5 crime families of the West Blue. And I guess by attacking the Marines, this will probably put Reuven on the shit list for the world government, which they did state in the previous chapter, and I didn't draw a lot of attention to it, that this kingdom no longer exists. Which means that this is probably the first domino that fell that's going to lead to the ending of this kingdom. But again, if this is the first domino, this is happening 16 years away from anything bad happening. Which actually, now that I think about it, if Brooke's 11 and there's a 13-year age gap between him and Shuri, then that means we're only about 2 years away in this flashback and a flashback from when Shuri is born. So King Reuven and Kandel become a couple maybe a year or 2 after this. So she's not yet Queen Kandel. She's just Kingdom of Vesperia Battle Convoy Commander. And maybe that means that 2 years from now, Brooke will be in the Battle Convoy, and maybe she'll leave the Battle Convoy in 2 years because she'll probably be pregnant in 2 days. Then again, Big Mom was able to like stay pregnant and operate as like a fierce battle combatant for who knows how many years. So maybe she's fine. I don't know. Maybe pregnancy isn't enough reason for her to not be Battle Convoy Commander. So it's still nothing but speculation on when she's eventually going to step down and Brooke becomes the Battle Convoy Commander. But maybe he's definitely probably going to be in the convoy, I assume, within the next 2 years. And then 6 years after that, he'll be like 19 or 20, and then that will catch up to where the last chapter left off. All right, sounds fun. Okay, so because of how short this chapter was, I don't really have much more to say, but hey, I had enough to say to where we actually managed to rattle on for almost 35 minutes, so I guess we'll just move into the outro for now. So, once again, if for those that are following on the channel, there is going to probably be some React content coming out in the near future, because we are now in the in-between for patches for like Genshin. Snezhnaya trailers are probably going to start dropping soon, so look forward to that. If you want to see me react to those, let me know. And the next patch for Honkai Star Rail is about to drop this week, so we're going to have to play through that in the meantime. But there are some events and character stories that I still need to get through in Genshin, so we're probably going to be prioritizing that next. But depending on what's more important, I'll probably leave it up to chance. The most recent video upload will probably have been at the time of when I upload it. Would have been by the time you're seeing this, it'll still be Act 9 Act 10 of Sumeru / Nodcry, and then the next upload after that will be the Cosmicon Roll On Again event, which I have not edited yet, and I will be editing probably after this stream ends. This is probably what I'm going to be continuing working on. I'm going to get dinner, and then I'm going to work on that more specifically. And then afterwards, the next streams will probably be whatever the event is with Klee and Genshin. We'll jump into version 4.3 in Honkai Star Rail later in the week. And until then, stay safe. If you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing when I'm doing it, the best way to do that would be to join the Discord. Links to it are where links are. So that's going to be all from me. So stay safe out there, and I will see you all next time.